Okay, this will be a review of how to solve it. System of thinking. You can help solve any problem. Well, it starts with the definition of the word camera or dynamic system. I should be talking to electrical system engineers who design control systems. Here goes.
Any problem. That's right. This book will actually teach you how to solve any problem, how to solve it, a system of thinking which can help you solve any problem. And I believe this is an older edition. I think this might be signed. This is written by George Polya. So George Polya was a super famous mathematician. He has very clever solutions to problems. He was very smart, very brilliant mathematician. Very, very famous, super famous, and it is signed by George Polya. Really cool, right? So I'm a collector of math books. This is a version of the book I have. I'll leave a link in the description to this book in case you want to check it out. How to Solve It, A New Aspect of Mathematical Method by George Polya. Princeton University Press. Cool, right? And so here he talks about it. How to solve it. First, you have to understand the problem. That's right. So think about it. So no matter what you're trying to do, your first step is to understand the problem. If you are doing a mathematics problem, let's just take mathematics, right? Because George Polya was a mathematician. That is a huge deal. I remember spending one time maybe like 4 hours.
I'll say it very clearly. If you think that all eyes are cameras and use the word emmetropia and emmetropization, you're thinking all eyes are bad cameras. And that's universally applied in optometry. That's the way they think. Bad camera. And all their words use the word error when the eye is a dynamic system. So
On
I can guarantee you we'll hang up on that definition. If the word emmetropization is used, it's pure box camera. And optometrists don't understand that all eyes are dynamic at birth. It's a scientific issue. Maybe you understand it. I hope. Only Rupa and Jeff Wong understand the situation, which they can begin prevention.
maybe, okay.
Because they know the eye is dynamic and realize prevention must start before you start wearing a minus lens. So kudos for the right solution. They understand the problem. Nobody else seems to want to, with due respect. It takes time.
Okay, maybe not 4 hours, maybe 2 hours on the simple statement, fix S naught and S. And I didn't know what that meant. I was like, what does that mean? And I was on some IRC channel talking to this guy, and I won't mention his name. I remember who he was. Great guy, really good at mathematics. He would help me all the time. And he knew how to write proofs and stuff, so so that really, really helped me. And 2 hours, right? So just to understand the problem, that is a big step. Second, find the connection.
It takes a lifetime to understand the mistake of assuming that all eyes are bad cameras, as Kepler did 400 years ago. And nothing changes in optometry because they want all eyes to be talked of as cameras. And unfortunately, most people can't think in any other way, with due respect.
Connection between the data and the unknown. You may be obliged to consider auxiliary problems if an immediate connection cannot be found. You should obtain eventually a plan of the solution. Right.
Quite frankly, you can't get to step 2 until you understand the definition of world and either accept that at birth all eyes are a dynamic system as actually measured, engineering science, or reject it. If you reject the idea, then you'll never get to step 2. And with great honesty, I don't expect anyone optometrist to be help with that.
So,
because the public does not want prevention. They don't want prevention when they're 20, 30, 40, or 2050, which I think is the only point where prevention is even reasonable and possible. So I will review emmetropization, and because it doesn't make any sense, basically, in an engineering scientific sense. In any event, our conversation stops until we resolve step one. We define all eyes as dynamic or bad cameras, and that's up to you. So I'll go ahead and post this and think for yourself.